A guide to writing goals. It's both harder and easier than you think. Assessment begins not with creating or implementing tests, assignments, or other assessment tools, but deciding on your goals. In academic areas, the goal is a statement describing what you want your students to learn and why. In administrative areas, this translates to determining our very reasons for being. Why is our unit important to the college? What are the key services that we want our customers, clients, or students to utilize, and why? The terminology sometimes causes us problems. What's the difference between goals, outcomes, and objectives? In some cases, the terms are used interchangeably. In most cases, organizations consider goals to be broader statements, with objectives often being the detailed steps designed to meet that goal. Think of a timeline. At the start of a semester, we ask ourselves, what do we intend? But at the end of that semester, we can look back and say what we've actually accomplished. Outcomes refer to the destination rather than the path taken to get there. A well-written goal can also define an outcome if it explains why we're doing what we're doing. We'll show some illustrations in just a few moments. For the purposes of this work, the terms goals and outcomes will be used interchangeably. While objectives are helpful in guiding day-to-day activities, they are far too numerous to assess. Assessment happens at the level of the goal or the outcome. So how many goals is enough? Obviously, there's no one right answer to this question. We don't want to have too few or too many. Some have recommended that we work to articulate a handful of well-stated key outcomes. If we have too few or too many goals, we should work with our objectives to categorize those that are related, so that we can craft umbrella statements ending up with a manageable number of clearly stated measurable goals. It's also understood that not every objective has a one-to-one mapping with an overarching goal, but this way of thinking will nonetheless help us keep things manageable. We're often told that good goals are neither too broad nor too fuzzy. But what does that really mean? I like to think about this in relationship to specificity and measurability. First, let's think about what it means by being too broad. Look at the specificity of your goals. They should speak to the work of your program or department, but not be generalizable beyond. In other words, your goals should apply down, but not across or up the organization. Only institution-level goals, such as general education and the college mission, generalize across areas. When we look at measurability, we're ready to clean up the fuzziness of our goals by using powerful verbs. This is just a small sample of verbs that we can find using Bloom's taxonomy. It's easy to find more comprehensive lists just by doing a simple web search. Okay, not too many and not too few, not too broad and not too fuzzy, we get it. But what if we still need some help in writing goals? This is my favorite model. It's helped nail down a good goal statement on many occasions. A stands for audience, B for behavior, C for content, and Y. When we talk about B for behavior, we're talking about a change in what an individual may know, do, or value. For example, a program might require that its students understand parliamentary law. Understand is one of those fuzzy verbs that we want to try to avoid. Let's see how we might rewrite it. The student will be able to use the principles of parliamentary law in the conduct of a structured discussion or meeting. An information systems technology program may have a goal that the students learn appropriate programming or scripting languages. The student will be able to demonstrate knowledge of HTML and other appropriate coding or markup languages in the development of a website. Note that the focus on the why helps to solidify the description of the outcome. A student activities office might have a goal to offer a leadership development program to the members of student government. As this is currently stated, can you see that it's all about what the department is going to do? Let's instead focus on the audience. Students involved in student organizations will be able to apply conflict resolution strategies to mediate differences that may arise during student-sponsored meetings and activities. A college may have a goal of facilitating inclusive decision-making. Employees will be able to recognize and discuss critical issues facing the college through their participation with the governance bodies, so that well-informed governance decisions are made in an inclusive, collaborative manner. Looking at this goal without defining an audience, their behaviors, and their outcomes is not very powerful. Assessment activity here will focus not on describing the college's governance structure, but rather it will focus on gathering evidence that the governance body membership is representative, that it's attending regularly, is well informed, and is participating in formulating recommendations that are acted upon by college leadership. What if your department doesn't quite fit this template? Perhaps your services don't have a specific audience, or not designed to bring about a change in behavior, what people know, do, or value. A number of departments that provide critical services may be in this position. We can think about an accounting or a purchasing office or a maintenance department. Goals in these areas will speak to what the department itself does rather than what an audience does, and their goals will be very closely aligned to institutional goals, such as those of the college mission and the strategic plan. How then will folks in these departments conduct assessment? They'll focus their assessment on resolutions of problems. Problems may be identified as a result of complaints, missed deadlines, resource shortcomings, incident logs, resource utilization reports, governing board inputs, audits, or discussions in meetings. These departments will focus their assessment and activity on answering questions about the problem so that they can expediently work to improve the situation. While the goal statements in some administrative areas will not take advantage of the remember your ABCs and why format, they still serve to provide clear statements of the department's priorities. It truly is all about the goal. Well-stated goals provide solid direction for faculty, staff, and students. This video has been produced by Deborah E. H. Kell, LLC, all rights reserved.